The observation protocol. The discovery. Commander Zelith stood before the observation panel, her crystalline fingers dancing across the holographic interface. The monitoring station orbited a small yellow star in the outer rim of the galaxy, a location the Galactic Council had marked as low priority. For 3 cycles, her team had been studying the third planet from this star, a world covered in blue oceans and green landmasses. "Commander, the readings are consistent," reported Technician Morvax, his 6 eyes blinking in sequence. "The dominant species on this planet operates on extremely low communication frequencies. We've detected less than 0.03% of the standard galactic communication baseline." Zelith's translucent form shimmered with curiosity. In her 200 years of service to the Galactic Council, she had encountered 47 different intelligent species. Every single one of them had one thing in common: they were loud. Communication was the foundation of intelligence, or so every scientific paper suggested. The VRYN people communicated through electromagnetic pulses. The Korthax used chemical signals that could be detected across star systems. Even the primitive Dulmer species sang songs that echoed through their entire planet. But these humans, as they called themselves, were different. Disturbingly different. The quiet planet. "Perhaps they are not truly intelligent," suggested Morvax, adjusting the sensory equipment. "The Council's criteria state that advanced civilizations must demonstrate complex communication networks. These humans barely emit detectable signals outside their immediate vicinity." Zelith moved closer to the screen, watching the infrared signatures of human settlements. They had cities, structures that reached into their sky, vehicles that moved with purpose. But their communication was confined to such small spaces. They used primitive electromagnetic waves for their technology, nothing compared to the quantum entanglement networks every civilized species employed. "Run a deeper scan," Zelith ordered. "Focus on their population centers. I want to know what they are not telling us." The equipment hummed, sending invisible probes through Earth's atmosphere. Data streamed back, and what they found made Morvax's primary heart skip a beat. "Commander, this is impossible. They have billions of individuals. Billions. And yet their ambient communication level is lower than a Korthax colony of mere thousands. They are deliberately staying quiet." The first theory. Dr. Xanthus joined them at the console, his massive form barely fitting through the doorway. As the station's chief xenobiologist, he had studied countless species across the galaxy. His deep voice resonated through the observation deck. "I have reviewed the data extensively," he began, his 4 arms gesturing at the holographic displays. "My conclusion is that these humans are in the early stages of technological development. They have not yet discovered efficient communication methods. Their silence is not by choice but by limitation." Zelith was not convinced. Something about the data troubled her. The humans had split atoms, sent machines beyond their own planet, and created artificial intelligence. These were not the achievements of a primitive species. "With respect, Doctor, your theory does not account for their technological achievements," she said carefully. "A species capable of space travel should have discovered subspace communication centuries ago. Yet they still use radio waves like ancient beings." Xanthus's skin patterns shifted, a sign of irritation. "Then perhaps they are simply inefficient. Not every species evolves optimally, Commander. The galaxy is full of species that reached certain technological levels and then stagnated. These humans may be one of them." The preparation. The Galactic Council approved first contact after reviewing Zelith's reports. A delegation was assembled, consisting of representatives from 12 different species. They would approach Earth with peaceful intentions, offering membership in the Council and access to technologies that would advance human civilization by thousands of years. The delegation's ship entered Earth's solar system with great fanfare. They broadcast their presence on every frequency, announced their peaceful intentions in 17 different communication methods, and waited for the humans to respond. They waited for 3 solar days. No response came. "This is unprecedented," Xanthus muttered, reviewing the data for the 100th time. "We have broadcast our message on frequencies that should be impossible to miss. Even their primitive equipment should detect us. Are they ignoring us?" Zelith felt a growing unease in her core. The silence was not random. It was deliberate. But why would an intelligent species choose silence when the entire galaxy was speaking? The transmission. On the 4th day, a human signal finally reached their ship. It was crude, simple, encoded in basic mathematics and simple electromagnetic pulses. The message was short. "We hear you. Stay in orbit. Do not land. We are coming to you." The delegation was stunned. In the entire history of First Contact, no newly discovered species had ever dictated terms to the Galactic Council. The audacity was shocking. They dare to give us orders? Xanthus's skin flushed with angry red patterns. We offer them the stars and they tell us where to wait? But Zealith noticed something else in the transmission. Something the others had missed. Hidden in the background noise of the human message was another sound. It was faint, barely detectable, but it was there. It was not silence. It was something far more terrifying. It was the sound of something being hunted. The sound of survival. The arrival. The human vessel approached the delegation's ship with careful precision. It was small, compact, and moved with a grace that surprised the alien observers. When the airlock finally connected, the delegation gathered in the meeting chamber, prepared to greet Earth's representatives with the appropriate diplomatic protocols. 3 humans entered the chamber. They moved quietly, their feet making barely a sound on the metal floor. The lead human was a woman with dark skin and intelligent eyes that seemed to assess everything in microseconds. Behind her stood 2 others, a man with silver hair and a younger woman carrying what appeared to be recording equipment. "I am Captain Sarah Chin of the United Earth Coalition," the lead human said, her voice remarkably soft for such an important moment. "Thank you for your patience. We needed time to prepare for this meeting." Zealith stepped forward, her form shimmering with formal greeting patterns. "I am Commander Zealith of the Galactic Council. We have traveled far to welcome humanity into the galactic community. We must ask, why did you insist we remain in orbit? Why do you communicate so quietly?" Captain Chin exchanged glances with her companions. Then she smiled, but it was not a happy expression. It was the smile of someone about to reveal a difficult truth. "Commander, may I ask you a question first? How loud is your homeworld?" The explanation. The question confused the entire delegation. Xanthus responded first, his massive form shifting uncomfortably. "Loud? I do not understand the relevance of your question, Captain. Communication is necessary for civilization. The louder the communication network, the more advanced the species. This is fundamental galactic law." Sarah nodded slowly. "On your worlds, what hunts you?" Silence fell across the chamber. The aliens looked at each other, uncertain how to respond. Finally, Zealith spoke. "Hunts us? Captain Chin, I think there may be a translation error. Advanced species are not hunted. We are at the top of our evolutionary chains. Predation ended for us millions of years ago." The young human woman behind Sarah made a small sound, something between a laugh and a gasp. Sarah raised her hand gently, signaling her to remain quiet. "That explains everything," Sarah said softly. "Commander, let me tell you about Earth. Our planet is not like yours. Earth is what our scientists call a death world. Everything on our planet evolved in an arms race of survival. The plants are toxic, the animals are deadly, and the environment itself tries to kill us every single day." She walked to the viewing port, gesturing at the blue and green planet below. "Our oceans contain creatures that can swallow your ship whole. Our jungles hide predators that can detect a heartbeat from kilometers away. Our deserts have temperatures that would boil your blood. And our predators, Commander, they hunt by sound. The truth about silence." Morvax's eyes blinked rapidly. "But you are the dominant species. Surely you have conquered these threats." "Conquered?" The silver-haired man spoke for the first time, his voice barely above a whisper. "Sir, we did not conquer Earth. We survived it. There is a significant difference." Sarah continued, her voice taking on the tone of a teacher explaining a fundamental concept. "Humans evolved in Africa, surrounded by predators with better strength, better speed, better senses than us. We had only 2 advantages, our intelligence and our ability to be silent. We learned to move without sound. We learned to communicate without noise. We learned that the loudest creature in the jungle was always the first to die." She pressed a button on her wrist device, and a hologram appeared in the center of the room. It showed a massive creature with enormous jaws and razor-sharp teeth. "This is a Tyrannosaurus rex, a predator that lived on Earth millions of years ago. It could hear a heartbeat from hundreds of meters away. The species that survived learned to control their breathing, their movements, their very existence. Silence became our greatest weapon." Zealith felt her crystalline structure vibrate with understanding. "You are not primitive. You are adapted." "Exactly," Sarah confirmed. "When you broadcast your arrival on every frequency, announcing yourselves across our entire solar system, do you know what every human on Earth thought? They thought a predator had arrived. A massive, loud, careless predator that was announcing its presence to everything that could hear it." The demonstration. Xanthus's skin patterns shifted to skeptical blue. Captain Chin, with all respect, you exaggerate. Your planet may have been dangerous once, but surely your technology has eliminated these threats. You have cities, industry, civilization. You are safe now. Sarah's expression became serious. Doctor, would you like to visit Earth's surface? I can arrange a landing in one of our nature reserves. We can demonstrate exactly how dangerous our planet remains. I accept, Xanthus declared immediately, his pride evident. I have walked on 40 different worlds. I do not fear your primitive predators. 2 hours later, the delegation's shuttle landed in what humans called the Amazon rainforest. The moment the door opened, the aliens were overwhelmed. The sounds of Earth hit them like a physical force. Insects buzzing, birds calling, the rustling of leaves, the distant roar of water. It was deafening compared to the controlled environments of their homeworlds. Stay close to our guides, Sarah instructed, her voice barely audible above the jungle noise. And please try to move quietly. They had walked for less than 10 minutes when something changed. The jungle sounds stopped. Complete silence fell across the forest. Every alien felt it, a primal fear that transcended species. Something was watching them. Nobody move, Sarah whispered, her hand raised in warning. And do not make a sound. Through the trees a shape emerged. It was massive, easily 4 meters tall, with muscle and claw and teeth designed for one purpose: killing. The creature's head swiveled, listening, searching for prey. The aliens stood frozen, their diplomatic training useless against biological terror. The creature moved closer. Its breathing was loud in the silent jungle. Xanthus's skin patterns flickered with panic signals, bright colors that screamed fear in his species' language. The predator's head snapped toward him instantly. The rescue. Sarah moved. Her movement was so quiet, so controlled, that even standing next to her, the aliens barely perceived it. She positioned herself between the creature and the delegation, and she made a sound. Not a scream or a shout, but a specific clicking noise from deep in her throat. The massive predator paused, confused. The sound pattern was wrong, not quite prey, not quite predator. In that moment of hesitation, the other human guides moved into position, creating a living barrier between the delegation and the threat. They moved in absolute silence, communicating through hand signals and subtle body language the aliens had not even noticed before. Then Sarah clicked again, louder, and threw a small device into the jungle. It landed 30 meters away and began emitting sound, mimicking the distress call of an animal. The predator's attention shifted immediately, and it bounded toward the sound, disappearing into the jungle in seconds. Back to the shuttle, Sarah ordered quietly. Now. Quietly. The walk back took 15 minutes. Nobody spoke. The aliens had finally understood what the humans had been trying to tell them. Silence was not primitive. Silence was survival. The understanding. Back in orbit, the delegation gathered in emergency session. Zealith addressed the council representatives via quantum communication, her voice thoughtful and measured. The humans are not primitive, she reported. They are specialists. They have evolved in an environment that would kill any of us within hours. Their silence is not a limitation but an advantage. They possess sensory awareness and environmental adaptation that exceeds any species we have encountered. Captain Chin stood before the council's holographic representatives, her posture respectful but confident. We appreciate your offer of membership in the Galactic Council. We accept. But we also offer something in return. Earth has trained us to survive in conditions you cannot imagine. We can teach your explorers how to move silently, how to read environments, how to survive on worlds you currently classify as uninhabitable. We can help you explore the dangerous places in the galaxy that you have always avoided. Xanthus, still recovering from his experience in the jungle, spoke with newfound humility. The council would benefit greatly from human expertise. I recommend immediate acceptance of their proposal. The vote was unanimous. As the diplomatic ceremonies concluded and the delegation prepared to return to council space, Zealith approached Sarah privately. Captain, I have one final question. When you detected our presence in your solar system, why did you wait 3 days before responding? What were you doing? Sarah smiled. We were listening, Commander. We were making sure you were not a threat. On Earth we have a saying, the wise hunter observes before acting. We needed to understand who you were before we revealed ourselves. In our world, the first to speak is often the first to die. Zealith's crystalline form shimmered with what humans would recognize as respect. Your species will teach us much, Captain Chin. The galaxy is louder for having humans in it, even if you choose to whisper. Actually, Commander, Sarah replied with a genuine smile,